This is Athletes as Educators with former pro basketball player, championship winning coach, and author Angela R. Lewis. Angie Lewis interviews current and former athletes who are passionate about sharing the lessons they've learned and the experiences that have shaped their lives. A resource for parents, a guide for student athletes, a source for current and former athletes, keys to transition off the court. Welcome to the Athletes as Educators podcast with Angela R. Lewis.
Welcome to this episode of Athletes as Educators. I'm your host, Angie Lewis. On the podcast today, we have Nakia Sanford. Nakia played college basketball at the University of Kansas, was drafted to the Washington Mystics, and now has a company called Nakia Sanford and Associates and a nonprofit, Betty Ann Robertson Foundation. Nakia, thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
So part of the reason that this podcast exists is to help athletes learn about what options there are beyond sports. Will you talk about Nakia Sanford and Associates and what your transition from playing ball entailed?
Sure, absolutely. So, I've just always been an entrepreneur in my brain, even before becoming a professional athlete. And if you talk to any of my teammates, they used to laugh and joke because I'll always be on quote-unquote business calls on the back of the bus when we would be traveling. And I started Nakia Sanford and Associates. Initially, I wasn't sure what business I was going to be in. My first entrepreneurial endeavor was actually a wing deli in Jonesboro, Georgia. And then I quickly learned about overhead and decided to transition into something where I was serving the community still and also able to be a little bit more free and not have to sit, in the office all day. So I looked at a lot of different platforms. I looked at a lot of different industries and settled on financial services. And I decided to build my financial services business on the Primerica financial services platform because it just allows us the ability to build our own franchises. And I really like the way the business model works. Mm-hmm. And so now I've transitioned. I'm fully licensed. I'm working on I have 3 more licenses that I want to get. I'm currently working on another one. And that's pretty much the gist of it. I do a lot of education, work in the schools. We're post-certified with the DeCatur County Police Department. We work in the schools teaching kids about financial literacy so they can not make the mistakes that their parents made. And also working with teachers and people that are just working hard trying to do the right thing. And it's so much fun being out in the community.
Now, why did you say you did a lot of research? You knew you wanted to start a business. You started doing research. Why did you settle on financial services outside of some other companies that you could have started, some other industries, I mean?
Sure. So I looked at coaching and I talked to a few people that were already in the coaching industry, and you either love it or you hate it. And your time is just, you got to really, really love being a coach because we don't appreciate what coaches go through as players. But on the other side, you just don't have a life. Your kids are, the kids you're coaching, they're pretty much your family. It was an extension of what my life was like as an athlete. And I just didn't have, this might sound bad, I hope not, but I didn't have the love for the game on that level to go into coaching. And I love basketball. I love what it did for me, but from an extension after sports, it wasn't an option. From the conversations I had with some of my basketball sisters. And then I looked at pharmaceutical sales, and then I found out to make the top money, you have to be the person in the operating room. Yeah, that's just not me. I'm not the blood and guts kind of girl, so I thought that wouldn't be a great fit. I looked at industries that, I Googled, what athletes typically did well in, and sales was one of those things. We're just typically done well in that. And so I looked at financial services, and initially I was thinking about insurances, and I was recruited by a franchisee with Primerica, and she showed me whole nother world with the investments. And I just got excited about what I would be able to do generationally in people's lives, and just planted my flag there, and the rest is history.
That's awesome. Now, how long have you had this business?
My Primerica business I've had since 2014. I've been fully licensed for a little over a year now, I believe. And before that, I guess I was my own financial advisor when I think about it going into retirement. So I started researching and learning a lot about the industry before I even knew that this would be the industry I was in.
So it's so interesting because you never know how something that you're doing is going to set you up later. And it's only until you get there, you reflect and you realize that was why you went through that.
Right. Absolutely.
We know that in playing sports, you gain a lot of skills that are transferable. How do you use what you learned playing sports in your business?
Oh my goodness, that is such a great question. So you hear that all the time and you wonder like, what? But that is so true. One of the big things that I know recruiters from organizations look for, because I've been approached, I still get approached, is that professional athlete or even that team person who's performed at a higher level, college, professional, as a team, in team sports, because you learn how to work with different types of people. I mean, you have so many different personalities on any one given team, and you learn how to work towards a common goal with people who might be different from you. That is so valuable in the workforce. The other thing is, tenacity and not quitting. We don't know what quit means. I mean, you can be down by 20 with 2 minutes left in the game, and you're expected to still go out there and play hard. And so that's a big one. One of the big ones for me also is playing hurt. Not physically, but when you're an entrepreneur or when you're in the business world and things happen that either hurt your feelings, hurt your pride, just hurt overall, like we have that tenacity to push through that and play hurt regardless of what's going on. You sprain an ankle and that bad boy is the size of a basketball, and you have to slap some tape on it. It's a championship game. You're going to get out there and play because this is your shot, right? Same thing in business. It's like, you get let down, you lose an account, you don't recruit that top guy, whatever it is, a door gets slammed in your face or someone that you really respected, disappoints you, just whatever it is, you have to play hurt. And that's probably number one.
I love that, Nakia, playing hurt, because in basketball, well, every sport, especially at a high level, everyone's hurting. Like, everyone is hurting. Like, you're always hurt. And so you have young players who say they hurt and they don't want to go. Like, there's a difference between being injured and being hurt, and everyone's hurting.
Yeah.
So you have to suck it up. And you're right. That same mindset and tenacity transfers to the other part of our life when you've played at that high level.
Right.
Now you're not only have this business that's helping people's lives, you also started a foundation.
Yes.
What's the work that your foundation's doing?
I'm so excited to talk about this because I've had to put it on the back burner while I was building a business. It's been really a struggle to not do what I wanted to do in that arena. However, one of the things that I learned early on from having my own foundation is that, you got to put yourself in a position where you can write the check. And so until your business is up to where you need it to be, you'll be super reliant on funding if you don't. I just wanted to make sure that I was in a good situation. So I had to put that down for a second, but kept everything in good standing. So now I've transitioned back into Atlanta. I had funny you asked me about that today because I had a preliminary meeting today with someone that is, oh my gosh, so fabulous. I'm so excited about working with her. And we'll be relaunching here. My prayer is that this happens in December or the first of the top of the year. And we have 3 major programs. The first one is something called Tools for Teachers. What I found in volunteering with the schools, especially in inner city schools or underserved communities, schools in underserved communities, is teachers who already don't make a lot of money are using their own money to buy supplies for their classroom. And I just think that's absurd. So this is just, little scholarships to be able to help the teachers be able to provide things. And sometimes it's not even books and materials. Sometimes it's toothbrushes and
personal
deodorant
items for
and
kids.
snacks. It's just so heartbreaking, some of the stories out there. And so that's the big one. The other one is girl talk. I feel that when I was growing up, I had all of these things I was going through as a young woman that I didn't realize until I got older and had the sisterhoods that I have, that we're all going through those same type of battles, but we're taught to compete with each other. And because we're taught to compete with each other for attention from guys, for attention from our teachers, attention in our families, whatever that might be, we fight against each other without realizing that we have similar stories and similar issues. So it's a peer mentoring group that deals with a lot of those things. And then the third is my baby, and it probably right now, I don't think it will launch for another 3 years, but it's an e-mentoring program. And I won't go into too much detail because I want to make sure that all my I's are dotted, T's are crossed with that program, but super excited about that one. I've already been doing some things. When I was playing overseas, I was Skyping into classrooms, and I had teacher friends, basketball sisters that were teaching. We kind of worked out programs where the students could communicate with me while I was in other countries. So I want to roll that out into a bigger platform.
That is awesome. That is awesome. And when I asked about the foundation, the tone of your voice just went up. I can tell that you are so passionate about it. From teachers to girl talk to e-mentoring, all three of those are huge. Now, you mentioned something that I want to go back to. We have to go back to this, Nakia. You said when you launch a foundation / nonprofit, it is important that you have the money to fund it yourself. Can you elaborate on that, please?
Okay. So a lot of people, they say, I'm going to start a foundation. I have this great idea. And what I didn't realize beforehand is that for-profit, nonprofit is just as cutthroat or competitive or difficult as for-profit. And so a lot of times you need to have, there's very little seed money available. So unless you're in a position where you're like a male athlete and you can throw, hundreds of thousands of dollars at your program to get it up and running and then get the funding, it's very difficult. Even a lot of athletes you see that have foundations, those foundations don't make a lot of money. A lot of times they're funding those projects themselves. I mean, you can pull the numbers up. It is what it is. And so I wanted to make sure that with my launch, I was able to write the check for, at least for the minimum for my programs, until I'm able to put the numbers on the scoreboard, so to say, to go after the bigger grant money. Because in order to receive funding, a lot of times they want you to have a program in place that's already running and already funded. So you're funding friends and family out of pocket, small donations from businesses. It's like it is starting a business. A nonprofit is just like that. And I also say that because, I live in Atlanta. Atlanta has the highest concentration of 501c3s. And that sounds like a good thing, but I really think it's a not so great thing. We really don't need more foundations. We need more people that can write checks. And so, and that's just my personal opinion. The opinions voiced by Nakia Sanford are not those. That's just my personal opinion. I think we have all these amazing programs out there, and I want to raise money. Yes, I want to make sure my programs are fully funded. Yes, I want to make sure that we're making the maximum impact in the communities that we serve. I also want to make sure that we're able to also donate to other charities. I have a friend, her name is Shandy Robbins, basketball sister from Kansas, and she's actually in Africa right now as a teacher, and, she's trying to raise money to pay tuition for these kids to continue going to school. So, little programs like that where the people that are on the ground doing the work, I want to be able to fund those things. I want to be able to write the check. And so that's what I mean by that. Yes, you have to raise money. Yes, you have to do your grant writing. Yes, you have to do all those things that you need to do to start a foundation. But the real truth of the matter is when you're starting out, especially as an athlete, a professional athlete, you don't have the time a lot. So I just funded a lot of the things that I did out of my own pocket because I was able to, but now I don't have that income. I'm building a business. And so I understand that I won't be able to make a maximum impact if I'm broke too.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can show up and shake
To
hands
sum
and
it
kiss
up.
some babies, but I can't write a check, right? So that's what I mean by that. And that's just full transparency. I just think that we don't think about those things. The intentions are there, but it's a business, and it is a very competitive, cutthroat business at that.
It is, and I ask that intentionally so that you could elaborate because there are a lot of athletes, current and former, who want to start something, but in fact, there's a
Hmm.
lot of people doing really great work, and so maybe the strategy is different. Maybe it's not starting something new opposed to helping someone else, like your friend in Africa, who's raising money for kids for school. That's really important.
Yes,
Uh,
absolutely. And just to touch on that briefly again, also, I feel I would like to get to the point, and God, excuse made me brainstorm, but one of the things I would like to have happen is where we're able to drop the need for our name to be on something or to
mm-hmm.
be my foundation and really come together. Because like you said, there are a lot of athletes that want to make maximum impact, that want to get things done, but sometimes we want it to be our foundation. But we could get so much more done if we were able to combine efforts. I've had basketball sisters that I've partnered with the initiatives that they're getting done because I'm a 501c3, and we've been able to really do some great work because it wasn't about whose name, whose foundation, who's getting the credit. It was just like, let's get the work done.
That was going to be my next question about partnerships. Will you elaborate a little bit more on partnerships and why they're so important?
Ooh, okay. So this is whether it's business, whether it's your athletic career, or any other endeavor. You have to have a team of people that you work with. That's what was so great about Primerica, was that I came into a team situation because it's very difficult to do on your own. And so your partnerships are always, about partnering with people who have either done more than you have or been to a place where you want to go and are willing to help shine light on that path, or a partnership with somebody who's going to help you stay accountable for what it is that you're trying to accomplish and stay accountable for your goals and dreams. If you're an athlete, student athlete, for example, and your mission is to get better at whatever it is, you need someone on your team that'll go work out with you, that'll push you, or a coach that stays on your butt to make sure you're there early, staying late, getting up your extra shots, whatever that might be. As a retired athlete, when you go into that transition, you need someone that can partner with you on making the decisions, and you're going to bump your head a little bit, and you need somebody that can fortify you in that space. And also in a business sense, you and I spoke briefly about, you're helping people write their books and you're sharing your experiences on how you did certain things. And that's a partnership, even if you say, okay, that's help. But really, if you're partnering with that person at that moment in their time of need to help them get accomplished what needs to get accomplished, and you have to have that. You cannot, you can do it by yourself, but doggone it, why would you want to? And it's like 10 times more difficult if you don't have someone helping you to get what you're trying to accomplish.
It is significantly harder to do it on our own. And as we know, very, very few people can make it by themselves. And it doesn't make sense when there are people who are ready and willing to support you. Will you talk about some of those people who've supported you over the years and some mentors that you've had?
Absolutely. Oh, that's a good question. I have to wow. For me, it goes all the way back to, gosh, okay, I have 20 years of to try to compress into like a 2-minute explanation answer to that. I've had coaches that have believed in me in high school. I didn't play ball. I didn't start playing until I was in the ninth grade. And I had never touched a basketball before that summer before. So I just had coaches that poured into me When I was in college, I wasn't like, if you lined up my high school team, my college team, and said, which one of these girls are going pro, would not have been the person that got picked. So it's funny, like you mentioned, I was drafted to the Mystics. I wasn't even drafted. Like, after college, I took a year off. I was a high school coach, and I was a waitress. And I thought it was just time for me to, get married, have some babies, or whatever was going to happen. And I missed basketball. And I just decided I would go try out. That was when they still did the big tryouts. And even in that, I had the coach that I was coaching with there in Kansas, in Topeka, Kansas. She gave me a little money. I had a couple of friends give me a little money. I worked the extra shift as a waitress to get the money together because I had to pay for my own way there. Like, it was crazy. And I just, did what I needed to do. And the people that helped me get that done is just astonishing had I not had that group of people. So from that to, my teammates, when I started playing, I just felt so like out of place because I'm like, okay, there's like Shamika Holtzclaw right there. There's Nikki McCray right there. I'm in the locker room with like all these, like, I'm like, what the heck am I doing in this locker room? So, one of my greatest sisters that I'm forever bonded to, and she knows how much I love her, but Muriel Page, she actually coaches down in Florida, and, we had a coach that was just like, I don't know who you are, I don't know your name, you're not going to play for me, like, I mean, really, like, literally probably was trying to make me quit. I don't even know, but I'm just like, maybe I don't belong here, having someone like that said, keep working at it, it's okay, you belong here, you deserve to be here, all those types of things, having people pour into you in that manner, all along the way. And then right now as a business owner, I work for a set of like the best brokers ever. They're challenging me, they push me, but they're there when I need to get, shored up, but they're also there to say, hey, you're not doing enough, you can do more. And so all through these stages, there's just been people that have blessed me tremendously, which is why I think it's such an important thing for us to, I don't understand how you could get to a level of success and not reach back to the people coming behind you because someone reached a hand back to you and it's your duty to pay it forward. And it drives me nuts when I see successful people that feel like they're just above and beyond, helping people or just having a conversation with someone or just blessing somebody, that's kind of my pet peeve. But okay, I'm sorry, I went on a tangent.
No,
that's my life.
No, not a problem. Not a problem at all. I want to go back a moment. I want to rewind just a little bit. You graduated from college and you were a waitress and you said that you were coaching high school basketball?
Yeah. I was an assistant high school basketball coach at Topeka High School in Topeka, Kansas. So, and I was a waitress at a steakhouse. No. I was a good waitress, too, by the way.
Well, that's sales, so it makes sense. You have to be able to communicate with people, get some tips.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts? Just think back to when you were a junior, senior in college. What were your thoughts about transitioning? Because it's tough for college athletes.
It is, and I don't want to say they. Let me take that back. So what happens is, you're playing and people say, oh, make sure you network and make sure, what the heck does that mean when you're in college?
Yes,
like, what are you networking? Like, network what? Like, so I wasn't thinking anything. See, I wanted to be a journalist, and then I looked and I said, okay, journalists don't make any money. And this is what's so funny is even then I was looking at sales because I looked at the different careers and I said, okay, journalists don't make anything. Print really doesn't make anything. But the person that sells the commercials in between the TV shows, they make a lot of money. So I was like, okay, I'm going to go into that line of work. So that was my idea. I just thought I would, I don't know, go and kill that industry. I mean, that's just kind of where my brain was. And then I still had some school to finish because I switched majors midway. And I don't know what I was thinking, to be honest with you. You're just like, what's next? Okay, I play basketball, and then you think about what career you want. And At that time, I was all in love and smitten and figured, I'll just get married and have some babies. And, cause that's life, that's the life that you see. And at that point, we didn't have the history of the WNBA available to us. I think the league had been around 3 years at that point, 3 or 4 years. That was when they still had the ABL and the WNBA. That's how old I am, dating myself. So this was like back in like 2000, 99. Hold on, 99. Yeah, like 99, 2000. So I didn't have that example that most young athletes, female athletes, take for granted. We didn't have that. So I definitely wasn't thinking about playing professional basketball.
No, I ask that because that is so often the case. Even when you think about the number of, there's only like 1% of college athletes play, 1% of high school athletes play college ball, then even less go pro. But when you're thinking about what you're going to do afterwards, people tell you things, but if you don't come from a family where you see people networking, you don't know what networking looks like or what it's supposed to be like. If you don't have exposure to different careers because you didn't have internships because you were playing ball all the time, like myself, you just you don't know what's out there. Right. And I think the other problem is you don't even know what questions to ask. So people will tell you ask questions, and it's like, well what am I supposed to ask people? At least at that, 19, 19. You don't know.
And you're not thinking about like that. You're thinking about that 6 a.m. practice you have tomorrow. And then we don't get summers. It's not like you can go intern somewhere. You can, but it's like, okay, why am I going to do that? I got, it's just, I don't know. If I could, and I do say this, if I could kind of guide a college athlete in that area, networking means that when you meet a booster, and it might be a field that you just absolutely are not even thinking about. Like, it doesn't matter. Oh, that person's a doctor. I'm not going to be a doctor. Well, networking means that you keep people in your network that you can call and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm looking for. This is what I need. Can you help me? I know you're not the person, but can you connect me to the person that might be the right connection? And those are the kinds of relationships that you need to develop, so that when you get out, when you look at Magic Johnson, he said he met with top business guy out in California. He told him, listen, your network is your net worth. So Magic Johnson, this is like magic, right? He called every single person in his cell phone. And that's how he transitioned. This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Yes, no, click. This is what I need. This is what I'm looking for. Can you help me? Yes, no, click. And that's just business. So if you understand that and you keep people in your network, be nice when people request, when people want to talk to you, you need to make sure you have conversations. You need to extend your hand. You need to have business cards. Even as an athlete, I had a little business card that said Nakia Sanford, professional athlete. I didn't have a business, but I had a business card with my contact information on it and all those types of things.
Thank you for breaking that down. There are going to be some young athletes that listen in and hear that, and it's going to bless their soul. They need to hear that and know, at minimum, just be good to people, be inquisitive about their life and their work, and then stay connected.
Absolutely. And it's the little things, guys. Like, I still have connections with my boosters from Kansas that just remember that I was nice to their children.
Ooh, that's a great point. Will you talk about being nice to people's kids? Seriously, it is not talked about enough. People love when their kids are happy. So if you can make somebody's kid happy. Oh,
it's a wrap. I'm telling you. So I never consider myself, quote unquote, a role model, right? Because you're just thinking, okay, I'm just this little skinny, scrawny kid from the projects, all right, and I'm here in the middle of you're not thinking that you. And unfortunately, some people do think that people look up to them, and then you have this whole nother set of issues. But you're not necessarily thinking, okay, this is a big deal. I'm tired. I just had a bad game. I freaking had donuts across the, the score sheet. You're not thinking about what that moment does for the person that's approaching you. And you really just have to be unselfish, and you have to take that time. My mom is so funny because she calls it being on stage. Mm-hmm. And she was like, she would always talk about, I see you got to be on stage. Yeah, because no matter how I'm feeling, I understand that person that's might be their only time that they meet Nakia. And I need to make sure they understand who I am as a person, good day, bad day, whatever, and leave that impression with them, because you don't know when it's going to come back. And when it comes to people's kids, man, people love their kids. Like, you be rude, make that baby cry, or that baby been standing there trying to give you a high five for ever, and you just walk right by because you're mad because you had a bad game. Like, that kid is going to remember that.
Yep.
So, and that's a big deal. So yeah, I just think you just need to be nice to people overall. And if you don't feel well, I'm like one of those really transparent, honest people. I'll say, you know what, I apologize. I'm so tired from the game, or man, I'm in such a bad mood after that game. Thank you so much. Give them a hug, pound it out, and bounce.
Exactly. You're absolutely right.
Like, and just be honest so people don't think you're just being a jerk. Just take an extra couple of seconds. Yeah. That's it. Just be nice to people. Mean people suck anyway.
You're absolutely right. And it's important that we're conscious of what we're saying, what we're doing, our body language. All of that makes a difference on the court, off the court, in business, and in life overall.
Oh my gosh, yes. Absolutely. And if you can hone those skills, and college helps you get those skills together, because you have to have a poker face a lot of times when you're doing those press release, press after the games, when you're speaking to boosters, when you're in front of your coach and you really just want to tell them where they can go, and you can't because you want to keep your starting position. You have to learn those skills anyway. So you just perfect those skills so that when you go, and you talked about earlier about those skills that transfer, that game face that we have, okay, I hear you talking, but I'm looking past you, because I'm looking past, what I need to get done. I'm looking at where my goals are. I'm looking at this person I got to stop, that I got to shut down. Yeah, I hear you talking. Okay. So those types of skills are big. They're huge. And you just have to just learn how to, hone them and get better at them.
Nakia, I swear I had that face today, and you made me realize where it came from. I was talking to somebody and thinking, you know what, I'm done with you, but you can't show it because oh man, you brought that back up. Thank you for the nostalgia
of that face. I'm looking at you, but I'm looking past you. But okay, I'm gonna give you the respect because we're in a exchange here. But I'm just going, yeah. Right.
No,
yeah, absolutely.
You're right on point with all of that. And I just really appreciate you taking the time to chat with me today. If people want to learn more about you, if they want to get involved with your foundation, if they need some financial advice, how can they reach you?
Well, everywhere. I'm all over everything. Well, I won't say all over. I'm on social media, but really the best way to reach me, and I tell this to everybody, whether it's a young athlete that just has a question, or someone wanting some advice on which way they're going career-wise in that transition, email me at Nakia Sanford at Yahoo, NAKIA at Yahoo. It's not ever going to change. That email address will be there as long as Yahoo's there, I guess, which I think they just got bought by somebody, but hopefully Yahoo stays. But yeah, email me. My foundation, we're changing my website right now for thebarfoundation.com, but you can find me, the Bar Foundation, on Facebook. I have a website, nakiasanford.net, that you can also visit and send me emails there. From a financial standpoint, just send me an email. We can talk. If I'm not licensed in that state, I'll get you to some people that can help. If you shop on Amazon, this is a big one for me. If you shop on Amazon all the time, there's a nonprofit part of Amazon, and you can choose a nonprofit that gets a small percentage every time you buy something. Amazon actually donates money. So if you could select the Betty Ann Robinson Foundation for that donation, that would be huge for me as well.
Nakia, thank you so much. That's great that I didn't know Amazon did that. So I would definitely
it's amazing. eBay does it too.
Oh, okay. I will keep that
Yeah,
in mind.
eBay, if you have auctions and stuff on eBay, they let you set up your little thing for free. There's all kind of good stuff out there for nonprofits.
Well, that is really good to know, especially since so many people are using Amazon as the go-to site for purchases.
Absolutely. And then just another last plug. I am writing a book as well, so I won't give like a launch date. I don't know when that's going to happen. But that my vision is for that to be out in February, and it's called The Professional Athlete Survival Guide. And it talks about a lot of the things that I talked about today, but breaks it down in simpler terms about exactly what do these things mean that you're supposed to be doing, and whether you go pro or not, how do you transition? Kind of similar. I mean, I'm going to go and look. I'm assuming your books are on Amazon.
They are. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to go and check those out. I mean, it's kind of I think it sounds like it might be sort of similar, but just in my voice. But I definitely go and read and support what you've already done. That's amazing. And congratulations to you and the work that you're doing as well.
Thank you. Congrats, and I'm excited to see all the great things that are going to come in the future.
Thank you so much.
All right.
This is Athletes as Educators.
Thank you for listening to the Athletes as Educators podcast. Connect with me through the Athletes as Educators Facebook page or at Athletes Educate on Instagram. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss an episode, and go over to iTunes and leave us a 5-star review. For more resources and information about today's podcast, you can check us out at AngelaRLewis.com.